In this video, I'm going to spend 100 days surviving in hardcore Minecraft while keeping it all farming themed. So, without spoiling any more of the builds, let's go straight into it and start our new world. Hopefully we get a good spawn. This is a random seed, so all we can do is hope for the best. And this looks awesome. So we spawn in a spruce, taiga, whatever it's called, doesn't really matter. It has spruce wood, and I love spruce wood, so this is pretty convenient for me. I'm going to look around, try to find a nice short tree because I don't want to leave half of a tree floating in the air, and I don't really feel like doing a huge 2x2 tree with just my fist. So, tree out of the way. Let's go ahead and find some stone and start making some tools. Don't want to forget that one wood up in the tree though, and let's run over here to this cobblestone and try to get some going. Interestingly, I've never tried to make a cobblestone tool out of mossy cobblestone, so hopefully you're able to do this, but I really can't understand why you wouldn't be able to. So this should be fine, otherwise we're just going to have to dig down in a little bit of a hole. Here's the first one, second one, and here goes the third one, and we should be able to upgrade our pickaxe. Unfortunately, it looks like we're not able to upgrade our pickaxe, but that's okay. I'll just hang out here for just a second longer, make sure I get 4 spruce tree saplings, and then we can move on. Running this way, we're kind of just looking for a place to live and maybe a little bit of a cave system so I don't have to dig down for stone. But we also need to find some sheep, and I will be getting some of this squid ink later because black is the best color for beds. But I'll just dig in this way and start getting some stone. Usually I cover up these holes, but for some reason I'm not feeling like covering this one up. Call it a first, but I think it's kind of nice to leave it and show how we started. I'll probably never see it again, but if I ever do see it again, I'll know that this is how the world started. I'm going to go ahead and get about 15 stone or so we can make a stone axe, probably a stone sword, and also some furnaces. Looks like I got a little bit extra, but that's okay because we're going to need more in the future anyways. First order of business, let's go ahead and get our stone axe. And honestly, I'm not going to get a stone sword because the stone axe just does so much more damage, and we should be able to one-shot, if not two-shot, all the mobs that we fight. Let's go ahead and grab some quick sugarcane because that's definitely going to be one of the focuses of our farming in this 100 days. And again, let's go ahead and get some ink because we need that for our beds, and when we get a dog, he'll probably have a black collar. Moving up back to the shore here, I do see some sheep, and we're going to need to make sure that we get at least 3 wool so we can make a bed, and also the food's going to come in handy because I don't know where we're settling down yet, so we might starve to death, and that would be a pretty uneventful way to lose a series. But that looked good to me. Yep, we got 4 wool, so now we never need to worry about sleeping, and we can go look for a good place to live. Around here I saw the creeking biome, or the Pale Garden I think it's called, and I'll definitely go check that out a little bit, but I don't really think I need it for this point in progression. I did, however, find some nice 2 tall flowers, both the pink and red. I think it's either lilacs or peonies, and the roses. Both of those will be useful for decorating. And fortunately, I also found a village, so let's go raid it and see what we might find. While we're raiding it, I know I can exploit this village, and I know I can get full diamond, enchanted tools, armor, etc. from it. But I really don't want to do that because in this playthrough I'm trying to limit all of my progression behind a specific build type. So for example, if I want to farm cows, I want them to have like a nice barn to stay in. If I want to farm any sugarcane, I want it to have like a sugar mill or some water wheel type thing. You guys will see what I end up coming up with, but yeah, I don't really want to take too much from these villagers, but I will take just a little bit for bread, and then if I can find the crops, I'll do that as well. And of course, can't resist the iron from the iron golem. I don't need too much. I could stay and get extra iron, but again, I'm not really looking to do too much in this village, and I think we can find somewhere even better to stay. That being said though, I do want to check out this blacksmith because sometimes you can get really good stuff in here. Sometimes you can get bad stuff, but while I'm letting this food cook up, let's see what he has. Throw all that in the furnace, which I don't think I've ever used before, but let's see. 4 obsidian and 2 diamonds is probably the best thing you can get in these because now you can make an enchantment table with just 1 book. So what is that, 3 paper and a book, or 3 paper and a leather, you can make your book, and then you can get your enchanting table. So I'm pretty much 1 cow away from being able to make an enchanting table, but again, not rushing into it. While I was exploring, I found this nice cave, and I'm definitely going to explore it a little bit, but probably not too much. If there's anything on the surface I can grab, I will go ahead and grab it, but again, I'm not in a super big rush, and we still don't have a place to live yet, so there's no reason to risk the last, 10 minutes of progression over this cave. I do see some coal and some iron, so I'm going to make a quick crafting table, shield, and bucket just to make sure I can get down there safely, and if a creeper drops or a skeleton pulls up on me, I'll have some way to defend myself. And usually I don't take this as slow. I would kind of just jump in the water and hope for the best, but I don't know, I was happy with the start and this world seemed pretty cool. There was a lot of good terrain generation that I didn't show in this video, but we had the pale garden right by spawn. We have spruce wood, dark wood, both mushroom types, pretty much everything you could want for a lot of bigger builds and a lot of good palette colors. So I didn't want to lose this world just because everything seemed so convenient, and obviously the nearby village is good, so let's just be safe. There's really no reason not to. I think we're right above the coal and the iron here, but I can't really see it. I think it's probably right under my feet right now, but I can't find it. I don't know exactly where it is, and I do want to make sure that I don't get snuck up on like the zombie's trying to do right now. So I will go ahead and take care of him, and then after he's done, I'll catch on fire from him, cool off in the water real quick, and make sure that no skeletons are going to shoot me, because from this height, if they shoot me and I fall off the ledge, I'll definitely die. And I'm not going to water bucket clutch. My water bucket's empty anyway, so I can't, even if I had the skill for it. But that being said, found the coal. Let's go ahead and grab this, grab the iron, and get out of here. Before I leave, though, I do want to make sure that I didn't leave anything extra just floating around. There's one little iron ingot, and if there's anything easy to grab, I will go ahead and grab that, and then I'll peace out. So right now I'm not really seeing anything, but I'm sure there's some coal or iron somewhere for me to grab. And I do find these few pieces, so I'll grab that and then we'll get out of here. 2 more, and I'll meet you guys at the base. Now, I know this isn't really a base, but this is where the base is going to be, so here it is. Right now we just have 2 furnaces down and our crafting table, but what we are going to do is make sure that some of these animals have a nice little place to stay. And I don't want to make this permanent because I do plan on giving them a more permanent home pretty quickly, but I don't want to accidentally kill them or have them wander off. So just to make sure, I'm going to go ahead and put each of them in their own little hole, Noah's Ark style. The one on the right will be for the cows, and the one on the left will be for the sheep. Eventually I will expand this, but I didn't see any pigs nearby, and I also didn't really see any chickens nearby, but chickens are much easier to deal with, so I'll find them later. Really not a big deal. My favorite little trick is when I push one in the hole and then make them breed for the other one to get in the hole. I don't know when I figured it out, but it made cow crushers so much easier. And I don't really need a gray sheep to muddle up the gene pool. Sorry about that, little gray sheep. Now that we have that out of the way, I do want to make a little campsite because I like doing this for my start to my world. I don't know, it just feels really cozy, and I like having a less permanent looking place. I could go ahead and build a nice super big starter home right here, but I don't know, it feels disingenuous to be starting a new Minecraft world and then take 2 hours to collect materials to make a giant base. In reality, you're going to be sleeping outside for, what is that, like 10 nights probably, just to build your starter house. So I've only slept 1 night outside, I think. Maybe I spent 1 night in the village, but that being said, I really don't plan on sleeping outside much. So I'm going to make this nice little temporary place, a little campsite, and I will build a tent, probably right here somewhere, but I'm going to need a little bit more wool for that, and I don't think that my 2 sheep are going to be enough. Anyways, let's see if this shape is good. I think that one's fine. It looks similar to one I did in a previous playthrough, but yeah, I don't really have any issue with that shape. We just need a lot more wool. So we're going to get some from these guys, and we're going to run around and try to find more. I don't really want to use these sheep and these cows for like actual farming, so I'm not going to breed them up too much. I thought about doing it for the wool because it's really not that big of a deal, but I only really need like 10, maybe 15, so it's not that big of a deal. That being said, I do want a way to get in and out pretty easily, so I will place these carpets in here. And again, I'm not going to be breeding up those cows a whole bunch. It would be a good idea if I wanted to really speed run my full enchanting gear, but I don't really need it, and I'll do it when I get to there. But for this first 100 days, I'm not going to do much of any enchanting, if any enchanting at all. So I'm going to save that for the second 100 days, which is going to be themed something special. So if you want to see the second 100 days, make sure you subscribe. I really don't like asking people to subscribe, but I feel like I kind of have to. I only have, 1,000 subscribers, so if you like this video, subscribe. If not, I'm sorry you didn't like it. Anyways, no more plugging myself because it makes me feel really uncomfortable, and we'll go back to the gameplay. So right now, I'm just going to go ahead and make my super basic farm setup. I was debating starting an actual big farm here versus just doing this, and honestly it's partially just a way for me to keep my storage down to a minimum, but also I do want a place to kind of have some food source, because I could kill my cows or I could just eat a maintenance level of potatoes. I don't know. I tried to waterlog it with this carpet and found out that you can't. You actually have to place it on top of the block. Doesn't really matter. I'll fix all that later. But yeah, this should be enough to maintain me for now, and we can actually get into building once we get good tools. So obviously the tent isn't finished, so I'll try to sleep and sleep and sleep and sleep and sleep. And now that we got our sleep, we can go ahead and find some more sheep just out in the wilderness. And this should be my last one, or maybe my last two. Go ahead and grab that. And I think we only need a couple more, probably like 5, but looks like we're going to go home with another 11, 12. So yeah, that should be good. I did a little bit more off camera, but nothing really worth watching. And here we are. Bed is firmly in the tent, and we'll go ahead and place in the back here. Misplace a block because I do it all the time. And there we go. I was thinking about adding a fence to the back, but I think that looks nice. And rotating to the front. I think we'll probably move the bed. I don't think I really like it over here on the right. So we'll centralize it. And then we'll go ahead and take the chest and the crafting table from right here, and we'll put them inside. But you don't need to watch me sort my inventory, because it's still pretty bad. Speaking of inventory sorting and a little bit of development, I made this chest right here for all the crops and animal goods. As you can see, I also found some pigs and some chickens, but I didn't think you guys wanted to watch me herd them from 200 blocks away, so I cut that out for you guys. But here's the bare bones basic setup. Everything that we're going to need is here so far, and we're only going to expand it. So our food, as you can see, is pretty erratic. We have this chest for all of our wood goodies. But the food right now is interesting to me because usually I do one animal or one crop and I just eat that. But since everything is on such a small scale still, I ended up eating mutton and pig and baked potatoes and stuff that I don't usually eat. That being said, now that we have all the basics, we're actually going to start mining so we can get some iron tools, maybe diamond tools, and then build our good farm. So I made this little path leading over this way. And for the mine, I'm going to keep it super basic. I don't think people really like watching you build mines or mine too much, so I'll cut most of it out. But for the build, it's just going to be this super basic mine shaft entrance right next to our little campsite. And I'll let the inside be a little bit of a surprise because I did do this differently than I've ever done before and differently than I've ever seen before. And I like the way it looks. So you don't have to watch me build it, but I will show you what it looks like actually right now. So I'm just gonna go ahead and eat a little bit to make sure that I'm not too hungry, and with the power of video editing, I'm gonna make a not so subtle jump cut, and once I place these 2 torches, I'll be able to walk right into the semi-finished product. We're gonna add some buttons up here just for texturing, and this is the top layer of the mine so far. Definitely not finished, but you can see there's just a little bit of storage, crafting, and furnaces at the top, and then there's gonna be a bed over to the right, and I'm doing 2 different columns, or I guess 2 different shafts, stairwells, whatever you want to call them, leading down. The one on the left is going to take us to the iron and the gold strip mines, and the one on the right is going to take us to diamonds. So here's the iron one. The gold one's going to look the same way. I'll invert it so that it's a little bit different, but this is what the strip mines are going to look like. Super basic area, bunch of storage, some smelting, and then the little barrels are going to have food and stuff for torch. Last touches though, I need to put some cobblestone in here just to texture up the blocks. And that should be good. I don't know why, but I'm going to block select right here instead of just picking them up. Probably had some in my inventory. And now that that's done, the iron farm, or the iron strip mine area is completely done, and I'll replicate this down at the gold and the diamond levels. But you guys don't really need to watch that. Ignore the one missing chest, I replace it later. Instead, let's just go down to the mines. These mines were some of the weirdest, most twisted, turned, tight little corridors that I've ever really seen. Like, what is this 1 block drop leading into a completely new cave system? This happened like 3 or 4 times, and every time I was trying to get home, I would get lost, and then I'd remember I have to look up for the 1 block hole in the ceiling. But that being said, it wasn't too bad. I was using my little torch trick where if you place a torch on the right side of the wall while you're leaving, then every single time you're coming back, it'll be on the left side of the wall. So if the torches are on my right, that means I'm leaving or walking away from where I came from. If the torches are on my left, that means I'm heading back, as you saw right there. So torches on the left mean I'm heading home, and then I find some iron. And here's what I was talking about with this cave being so weird. I punch out 2 iron, I'll get the rest, but it leads to a totally new little cave system with lava, and let's see if there's anything else back here. I could walk around, I could dig around, but instead I'm just gonna block it off. And we actually find our first real diamond. I guess there's the diamond from the NPC village. But yeah, first real diamond, could be more. I don't have an iron pickaxe yet. I have iron ingots and I have sticks, but no crafting table. So I'm gonna go back up, make one, and now that I have that, we're gonna punch out all the materials that we left behind. So it's gonna be our gold, it's gonna be our lapis, and lastly, it's gonna be the diamonds. I'm pretty sure you can mine lapis with a stone pick, but for some reason I just didn't want to chance it. Lapis isn't really that important, and we're not really doing a lot of enchanting in this episode. But still, I used to love lapis before it was used in enchanting, if that shows my age. And so now I hold it in high regard, so I always want to mine it with a nice iron pickaxe instead of a stone pickaxe. That being said, gold's out of the way. Here's our beautiful, beautiful lapis. Not too much of it. Usually it comes in way bigger clusters, but I guess I'll take 3 or 4. And then I'm pretty sure our diamond is just around the corner. So here we are. Hopefully we get more than just one. I'm hoping for at least 2 or 3. And it's not looking good on the left side. The right side is also not looking too good. Hopefully above it might have something, or maybe behind it. Yeah, no, there's nothing. So we just got 1 diamond. That's okay. We already have some, and I'm sure we'll find more, especially once we build the diamond strip mine down at, what is it, y equals -15. That's going to get us a ton. So for now, let's just celebrate our 1 diamond. To close out the little mining montage / caving expedition, I'm going to try to get home because now I'm lost. I ended up going a little bit deeper into the new cave system and found probably 10 different creepers around every single corner. I don't think I've ever found this many creepers, but it'll be good to have some gunpowder. I don't know if I'll ever really need TNT, but it'll be nice for when we get rockets eventually. And I do find a diamond up here. I think there might be an extra one, and I do find one diagonally. I don't know when they added the diagonal veins, but now I always check, and it's always exciting to find a diagonal one. So it looks like we have 2 more up here, which is pretty exciting. Now we have, 3 mined diamonds? So we can make a diamond pickaxe, and then obviously we can do our enchanting table. Found another one. In disbelief, I thought that I couldn't find 2 1 diamond veins, not back to back, but 2 out of 3 diamonds that I found were 1. So I dug that all up, got mad, and left. And then I made this little pit stop at the little iron strip mine section. I don't know what to call it. I'll call it the iron level, and we made our first diamond pickaxe. So now that we have this, we can mine obsidian. But again, not in a super big rush. Not going to the nether this episode, and not doing too much enchanting this episode. I might make the enchanting table, throw on some level 1 enchantments, but nothing too crazy. Anyways, we're just going to go ahead and touch up our farms. We are keeping these nice and restocked because obviously we're going to want something to start with once we build our big farms, which is coming soon. So as you can see the chests, we have probably 15-20 of everything, which will be a good start. Sugarcane is also doing pretty well over here. I don't want to make this too big of a scale, and I don't want to add any ease of access to it, but I want to make sure that once we start our sugarcane build, we actually have a little bit of sugarcane to go with. But for now, let's go back to the mines. So I was looking around and I found a little zombie spawner. This happened on my way down to the diamond level. I still haven't made it down to the diamond level because I was using a stone pickaxe for most of the time. Upgraded to the iron pickaxe, and I have the diamond pickaxe in my back pocket. But yeah, found a zombie spawner. Not sure if I'll use it. I don't think I'll use it for this 100 days, but for that special second 100 days, I actually can see a lot of uses for it. So I might do that, but we find a name tag, which is awesome. Otherwise, not too excited about it. We have all this stuff already. My inventory is a huge mess just from being down here so long, and I don't notice it at the time, but I have so many broken tools that I'm carrying. Like, what is the axe in the bottom left, and what is the shovel in my hotbar? Why am I carrying them, and why am I not throwing them away? I don't know. I should also just upgrade them to iron, but I'm not. Found Frostwalker. Frostwalker sucks. I'll never use it. It used to seem cool, like when it first dropped, but yeah, I don't know. I like being able to jump in my water, so I'm going to leave that with the shovel, find an extra few diamonds, and make my way down to the new strip mining level. On the way down, I did find another little 1x1 hole, and so obviously I'm going to punch into it and see what it leads to because this world is full of these little 1x1 holes. And I go in here, find a little waterfall, and we look around the corner and I see another spawner. Hopefully this one's not a zombie spawner because zombie spawners are kind of useless. I guess you can trade with the cleric and get some emeralds from it, but nobody does that really. And this one's a skelly spawner, which is immensely more useful because now we can get unlimited bone meal. I guess we could technically get bows, but we really would want this for the bone meal. Horse armor doesn't really matter to me, but if we look around the corner here, it looks like it leads somewhere. Looks like a bit of a cave ravine system. Not too interested in jumping down there, so instead we're going to meet at the bottom of the diamond strip mine, and there's actually some diamonds in the area that I was clearing out. So again, I'm not going to make you guys watch me build all this. I will show you what it looks like at the end, and also in, I think, like 5 minutes I'll show you, because I come down here to get some stuff. But yeah, found some more diamonds, and now we're looking pretty. I think we have about 30 diamonds in our inventory. Now that we have all these diamonds, we could pretty much do whatever we want. We can make full diamond armor, a bunch of diamond tools, but I actually don't want to do either. It looks like we have 24, so I think that's enough for a full set. I'm just really not in a rush. I mean, we could use them and then break them, but seems like something we should save for the next 100 days, which is theme. I'm just kidding. I'll stop plugging the next 100 days and I'll stop pretending to tell you guys what the theme is for it, but I am excited. Switching up over to this area, I built this nice little logging area. I don't know, I wanted it to have some sort of build associated with all the trees that I was chopping because I chopped a lot of trees. And again, the point of this series is to make sure that everything we do happens with a build associated with it. So obviously we need some sort of logging build, and that's the best I could come up with. By the way, there's a nice little spider over here. I always say this, but if it's daytime, don't hit your spiders. They just chill. Anyways, with all this wood, we can go ahead and start the next build, which is our first big farm, and that's the sugarcane farm. So for this, I wanted to have a nice little water wheel so that we can actually mill the sugarcane down into sugar. And I didn't pay too much attention to the physics of this, but I found a little guide online for how to make this wheel. For the actual building, I ended up freestyling it, but there's no way I was making this wheel off the top of my dome. So I will plug that down in the description. I forgot who it's by, so I'll make sure I put the full shout outs and everything down in the description. And now that we started the build, it's not finished yet, but now that we at least started it, I felt comfortable coming in here and making this farm usable. I haven't really been doing too much of it, and I didn't want to expand it too much until the build was here. But now that we have the build, it's going to just be so much better and so much easier to harvest this because we don't have to worry about any of the water. And I will expand this just by a few rows or layers or however I'm going to do it, but for now that's good. I ended up throwing this basic little boxy building up, just using stone bricks, and cobblestone. Nothing too crazy yet, but for the rest of it and for the roof, I'm going to go ahead and give you guys a little bit of a replay mod because I had no idea what I was going to do with it, and I had to tweak it just a few times. So it's kind of difficult building this asymmetrical style of a build because the back wall had to be taller than the front wall, and I really should have made it not boxy, but I wanted to keep it nice and simple for the first build because it didn't make a lot of sense for me progression-wise to go from no buildings to like a giant 2-story multi-dimensional, not multi-dimensional, but you know what I mean, with like different levels and popping out to the sides and stuff. So I think this is nice. It's technically 2-story, but it's functionally 1-story with an attic. That felt fine. First building can be 1-story with an attic. It could have a basement too and be totally fine by me. But yeah, I put these nice little fence gates in there for some texture. No windows, no glass yet. Instead, I'm just using stairs, and I think I used some cobblestone walls as well. But yeah, keeping it pretty basic for the first one, and just going all the way around the house, placing these little fence gates. I'm not sure what the balance should be for videos like this of building and replay mod. Sometimes when I watch the footage back of me struggling to place a single fence gate like this, I think I should just do all of it replay mod. But sometimes when I watch other Minecraft YouTubers, I kind of like their decision making and just like the specific stuff like this, like knowing that they were going to use fence gates here is usually pretty interesting to me. So let me know what you guys think. I don't really know. I'll just do whatever you guys say from now on. But until then, we're going to do some terraforming because this is really close to the hill and I don't like that at all. And also we still need to expand this just a little bit. So I'm going to go ahead and take care of that. We added some flowers, some tall grass, just a little bit to make this area look overgrown. I could have made it look less overgrown because there should be a path leading around to the back where the actual sugarcane grows, but I don't know. This looked just fine to me, and I'm going to go ahead and take care of paths later since I don't really have enough builds to connect to each other yet. So for now, I'm just going to go ahead and plug some water into these, and this will be as big as the sugarcane gets. I thought about automating it since we have redstone, and it's really not hard to make automated sugarcane, but the rates are pretty bad, and we don't need a lot of paper, at least yet. All we're going to need is books and bookshelves for enchanting, but again, not really right now in the farming episode. And also, we're not going to have rockets since we're not fighting the Ender Dragon in a farming episode. So yeah, I kept it pretty basic, and I think this is about as big as I would want it to be. And I'm really happy with how this build looks. I'm going to go ahead and clean up my inventory for everything, and I'll just cut to the end when this build is finished and show you guys what I made. As you can see, there is a little bit of a path here, and it leads right up to our build. The path is a little disconnected right now because I'm thinking about texturing it with other stuff, but it goes right inside where his bed is, and there's going to be crafting, a cartography table since that is the designated villager, and then we have sugarcane, paper, and then up in the barrels we have sugar. So all the little sugar products and sugarcane products are up there. And in the attic is my favorite part. I like doing this with my attics where I add just a bit of cobwebs and some barrel piles, just extra storage and stuff like that. There's no clutter or anything in there. Maybe some residual blocks from from when we were building like fences and slabs and stuff. But I did keep it pretty cleaned up, and I added this little coordinate book. I could just file it like in real life, not on my Minecraft world, but I liked having a little coordinate book, and it's something I've never done. So for now, we're gonna have that, and then I'll swim all the way over here, give you guys a view of the wheel. Doesn't look super good from close up. Again, that back wall that holds the wheel is kind of flat and kind of two-dimensional. Not too big of a fan of it, but from further away, I do think it looks nice and it looks pretty natural. Moving forward to our next build, we want a nice big red barn, and to do that, we're gonna need a lot of clay. So I swam around and I dug clay for probably 2 hours. I've never done this before. Usually I would just find a mesa biome, but I don't have an elytra, and there's not a lot of water in this world, so I didn't really want to go around forever. I did have to go around for some other stuff like bamboo, but the clay was just fine. We were by a river, so smelted up a bunch of clay, made our terracotta, and then once we had the terracotta, we combined it with some red dye to make red terracotta, and all the red dye came from bone mealing the 2 tall rose bushes. So everything was honestly really easy to make. I was kind of surprised. But for now, here's the diamond strip mining level that I didn't end up showing you guys. Wasn't too exciting to build. It's honestly really similar to my last one that I made in my first series, so I didn't want to make it too big of a focal point of this video. But I do like the way it ended up, and I do like this little smithing area. Nothing too crazy or special, but I think it's nice and it feels homey. So honestly, super excited with this build. It's definitely my favorite, or the sugarcane. I don't know. I like all the builds so far, and that's nice to have in a Minecraft world, especially when all the Minecraft that I see on YouTube is either the start of a series that never goes anywhere, or it's the start of a series that is also the end of the series because they kill the Ender Dragon after 20 minutes. But just to show you guys real quick, I've been using a lot of signs, so that marks my lava pool. And if we come down here, I actually have something really crazy that I've never had in any Minecraft world before. It's just crazy. There's 4 diamonds here. I think 4. Let me double check. Yeah, so there's 4 here. And if we walk, what is this, 20 blocks, 30 blocks, something like that, we have another 4 diamonds. And obviously I'm not mining these yet because I want Fortune 3 to see how many we can get. Maybe I'll make my first YouTube short about it. But then there's another 3 here. And then on the way back, there's another 6, 7, 8. I don't even know how many that is. But that's crazy. I've never seen this many diamonds so close. That being said, though, let's move on to the barn build. So I did follow a little guide for the outside of this barn, and a lot of the inside came inspired by him as well. I think his name is Emic or Emic on YouTube. Again, I will link him down below in the description, and I should pin a comment with the link as well. But you can see I'm growing some acacia wood there and then throwing up the barn. I thought about using the acacia wood for texturing. It's more of an orange, but I thought it might look nice. Didn't end up looking nice, so I used mangrove instead. But yeah, just a nice classic stereotypical barn build. I actually pulled the silo into the barn because I thought it looked a little bit cozier. And then on the inside for the functionality, I wanted to add a cow crusher in here. Just testing to make sure it works. And I guess I need to break out this block. I don't know what I did there. Probably had it there so the baby cows didn't escape before the water was put in. But yeah, this looks good. I'll just add a little half slab up here to block the water. And now the chest should still be accessible. And perfect. So now the cow crusher is working. There's only 2 cows in there, so it's not working perfectly yet. But now that we have that built, we can actually get rid of our temporary cow holding station, whatever you want to call it, and we can move on to something else. So I don't know how he snuck into the little sheep area, but I have red wool here on the sheep, or I dyed them red so they grew red wool. For texturing the barn, I thought it would look nice, and now that we have all the red wool we'll need, we can go ahead and finish up the barn and then eventually find a home for these sheep and for the pigs. And the chickens are another story. We'll get to the chickens later because I hate chickens now after recording all this. Chickens suck. That being said, though, let's go ahead and bring these pigs. You guys are going to get a little teaser for what the inside looks like because I really didn't show you anything in there yet. But as you can see, we have this nice little pen set up for the piggies. This is directly across from the cow crusher. I have an infinite water source there for the little water troughs that I made. But yeah, pigs are now in, almost in, mostly in. Pigs are now in, and we can go ahead and get rid of the little pig pen. And then over here, we just need to transfer some sheep. And then I think that marks everything except the chickens, which again, we're not talking about them yet. These sheep are completely disinterested in my wheat, but eventually they catch on and we can drag them all the way over to the barn. Slowly but surely we get in there. And now the barn is pretty much complete. There's storage upstairs, and we have sheep, pigs, and cows in here. That's all the animals we could want. And the chickens are going to get their own coop, which is going to be outside. And I'm honestly not going to show much of that because it was a nightmare to build, and I'll talk about it a little bit more in the future. But here's the barn all said and done. Cow crusher is working. It's not fully populated yet, but everything looks good in here, and honestly, I'm super happy with it. I've never built a big red barn, and I'm just glad that I did. Moving outside, we have this nice fence. I decided there should be some animals outside in a little pen, and I'm going to throw some sheep out here. I just think it looks more natural to have them. And this contraption is going to be the chicken farm, or the chicken coop. I'll talk about it in just a second, but first we need to go ahead and bring these sheep into the pen so that we can have some starter breeding population. Right now there's a red sheep and a white sheep, but I'm going to dye the red sheep black, and then we'll have white sheep, black sheep, gray sheep, light gray sheep. Just a nice holistic blend of sheep. Moving on to the chickens now. There's the chicken coop, as you can see. And before I tell the story of the chicken coop, I am going to go ahead and deal with these chickens. Just like we did with every other animal, once we were done giving them a place in the barn or the coop or whatever, we go ahead and kill them or liberate them from their holes. For the chickens, we want to do something special because they super turbo sucked. So we're going to make a nice diamond sword. First time making one on this world. And we're going to hop right down into the little chicken pen. And they're all going to catch the smoke. Not a single chicken is living because that guy got extra prejudice. Every chicken broke out of the farm like 3 times making it. So I was super annoyed. And there's a baby, so since he's last, I don't want to slaughter the baby. That feels kind of messed up. What I will do, though, is feed him until he grows up. And I have time. I have so much time for these chickens after what they put me through that I'll wait. And I'll make you guys wait with me. It's not going to be a long wait. It's going to be like 5-10 seconds, real time. We got really lucky after feeding him 40 seeds. But as soon as he grows up, he's dead. Frame perfect. Okay, not frame perfect, but we will kill him instantly, and then we'll pretend to never talk about the chicken farm again. But the chicken farm is actually really cool now that it works. It's right over there. It's not as loud as I thought it was going to be, but it's just an automatic cooked chicken farm underneath that coop. Nothing too crazy, but that is our food source. Either that or the cow crusher right here, which is working. Still not fully populated yet, but that's working. We would just have to actually cook the meat after. So the automated cooked chicken farm is going to be the breadwinner for us, at least for right now. Here's the upstairs that you guys haven't seen. Just storage. There's not really too much in here right now. But any animal products that we need or whatever junk can go in there. And then obviously the sheep out here. I haven't bred them up too much. And then there's the little chicken coop. So these chickens on the outside are just for decoration. Not really sure how many I should have, but that seemed fine. And then up here is where we're storing eggs. So if we ever turn off the cooked chicken farm, which feeds into right here, by the way, it does work. I'll show you guys it later, but this was right after I rebuilt it. So in the back here, we have the dispensing action. So if we turn this off ever, we can get our eggs out of here and put them up in the barrel. But if we want to turn it on, then we can shoot the chickens through the lava. At this point in recording, I didn't have the right setup, and that's why it wasn't working. If you want to do this now, you have to use a stone cutter. It's a stone cutter and I think a half slab. Or no, it's a stone cutter and a cauldron instead of just lava into a slab. So if you're going to make this, make sure you use the stone cutter. That being said, let's move on to the final build of the video. By far the best build of the video and by far the biggest build of the video. This is the first one that required hardly any terraforming. We did a little bit for the barn, but we did actually have to terraform out a little platform here and more terraforming than I showed. But first, we're going to start with the windmill. And this windmill, 100%, ripped it completely off of another YouTuber. I'll link him down in the description. I changed maybe 2 blocks in the color palette. But other than that, I did not design this because I have never built a windmill and I wanted an awesome windmill. I was not about to try to freestyle this. That being said, I did freestyle the inside. I don't know what the inside of his windmill looks like. So the outside is pretty much one-to-one his, and he did a great job, so make sure you guys go and like his video as well. If you want to follow a tutorial, he makes a great one. But for now, there's the farm. I didn't really show too much of it being built because I wanted to give you guys a nice panoramic, scenic view of it. We have wheat, we have carrots, we have potatoes, and in the back we have our melons and our pumpkins. Moving on to the inside of the windmill, I wanted a nice, I wanted it to be inorganic, kind of scattered around storage system. Because usually most of the storage that I do is it's really organized and it's really symmetrical, and I don't know, it just seems too orderly. So since I used somebody else's design for the windmill, I did want to challenge myself and do something original on the inside. And so far it looks absolutely awful, but I think it'll actually come together really nicely in the end because I have a few more ideas that I've also never implemented that I think will do really nicely for a farm build. So right now we're just building up a bunch of chests. We are going to implement some barrels in here, and we're going to try to keep some single chests. I did that how it was so it didn't match up too well with the top. And then I think I'll put barrels. I know I always do barrels above the chests on like half slabs or trapdoors and stuff. So I'm going to try not to do it how I always do it, and instead I'll make some sort of a design for the actual shelf. And then I'll make the barrels look a little bit more standalone. Like in the farm, for example, they look really cohesive. In attics and stuff, they look cohesive. So here I'm trying to make them look relatively standalone. And it kind of does look like that. It looks like each barrel is its own thing. And then here's my first little trick that I have. I'm going to use moss and mossy cobblestone, mossy stone, etc. to give the floor a little bit of an overgrown vibe. And I think this is really nice for a farm just because it's a farm. Like it should have vegetation and it should have some greenery and stuff like that. And the inside was looking really, I don't want to say sterile, but it was looking almost dungeon-esque. Like it's just stone and cracked stone, and it's kind of dimly lit, has some deep browns in it. I don't know. So I made this nice little centerpiece. It looks kind of like a rug, but it's just this clump of moss, and then branching out from that, I'm going to have mossy stone, mossy cobblestone, etc. And it really does look like it's kind of just spreading out from the middle. It doesn't make the most sense. If anything, I would do spreading out from the edges because the middles would have a little bit less from foot traffic, but it's Minecraft. It does not have to be realistic. And I think it looks better this way. I don't know. It gives it a nice little centerpiece and kind of breaks it up, makes it a little bit less symmetrical. And so on the outside, we're going to do the same thing with some foliage. We're just going to add a bunch of leaves, make some little bushes. Not really sure how to do this because I haven't made bushes really ever. And so it's going to be trial and error for me. I almost wanted to do like vines crawling up the outside of the building. I don't know. It looks a little bit janky, so I'm going to take it out. But I did think about it for a second, and I'm trying to mix in birch leaves and oak leaves. I don't really know how I feel about the two colors. The birch are a little bit gray. But what I do really like and what I do really feel confident in is what I do on the inside of this. This first part is not really that exciting. Using a composter as a flower pot and then putting leaves on top of it. That's super basic. I'm going to go ahead and do that upstairs as well, just up in the little bedroom. I don't know if I've showed you guys this yet, but it's just a little bedroom for the farmer, and he's not really going to have too much up here. He has 2 little barrels for storage and a chest, but otherwise he doesn't really need anything. There's some lanterns up there. I'll fix the lighting later. But when we come down, if I can get down the ladder, that is, we're going to use the foliage to make some nice vines coming down from the ceiling. And I started off at like eye level, but I really want it to look like they're up high in the roof and then they're kind of crawling down around the storage system. And obviously that torch is going to have to go, but I don't want anything to spawn in here for the time being. And it's kind of a small area to want this like tendril-like feel, but so far I'm not doing it at all. I'm just not even close to what I want it to look like. So I'm going to scrap most of it, but I think what I need to do is just make it thicker at the top, because at the top it's only 1 block thick. So I might need to just add a lot more to the top. If I keep it 1 block thick, maybe I'll just add more horizontal layers to it. Like that's looking a little bit nice. How at the top there's 2 by 1 and then it trickles down into 1. Like up there there's no variety or anything, but yeah, I think it looks pretty nice. I could make it thicker later if I want to, but I'm going to add the lighting. I'm going to do some dangling lanterns in there. Clean up the storage real quick. But the dangling little lanterns should make it look pretty nice. It should fill the space well. If it doesn't fill the space, I'll add more of those little vines. But yeah, for now, everything's looking really good. Our storage is so clean. It's nice having just no clutter in my inventory. We have stone stuff in here. We have wood stuff, building stuff, crop stuff, everything that we need. And it all honestly fits in here thematically. Like we're going to need stone stuff in here because there's stone on the farm and there's stone walls for repairs. And we're going to need building stuff because it's like we built this. The farmer built this windmill and his farm. And obviously like mob stuff can go in here because the farmer has to defend his farm, etc. But for now, we're just going to pop in some lanterns. I'm going to do a couple. I I thought about doing just one, but I usually just do one lantern hanging from the center. And like I said, for this build, I wanted to avoid that symmetry and the orderly design that I usually do. So I'm thinking about where I could put another one, and I think this back left corner, maybe back right corner would look really nice. And obviously I'm going to put them at different heights because again, we're avoiding symmetry here. And I don't know if I'm going to want a third one. Brief little pause there. I don't know if I'm going to want a third one, but I'm thinking two is nice. I might want three, and I do like the height difference. Like, this feels so cozy. It's so much cozier than any of my other builds and anything that I've built in other worlds. So I'm really liking that, and I think I'm going to do the same thing in here. I don't know. I was playing with the lighting ideas in here for a while. Didn't know what I wanted to do, and then I ran out of iron, so obviously got to run back down to the strip mine real quick, get some of my iron, make some more lanterns and some more chains, and then I can actually figure out exactly what I want to do with the light. On the way back from the mine, we stopped by our little chicken area, chicken coop, chicken cooker, whatever we want to call it, and make sure it's working, and it is. So that's super nice to just have a stack of cooked chicken anytime I walk by here. Some of the chickens on the outside died, but again, we hate chickens now, so it's okay. Here's the view right now. I know I showed you guys that time lapse of everything filling in earlier, but at this point it's still not done yet, and we're gonna add some lanterns up top, maybe add a third one downstairs. But I'm thinking I'm just gonna dangle a light from here. I wasn't going to. I was gonna put it by his bedside so he could turn the light on and off before bed or whatever. But let's pretend he has a light switch, or he has some way to turn that off before bed, and we'll even give him a personal light in case he wants to walk around or if he wants to do anything where he would need a light. That being said, moving back down, I'm really thinking we need a third one in here. So I'm going to do this back right corner, back being closer to the front door, so I guess the front corner, but back relative to my perspective, if you know what I mean. So yeah, 3 different height levels, 3 different placements, and I like it. It looks cozy. I'm pretty satisfied with it. All we have left to do now is fill in our farm and do our paths. So I'm just going to punch out some paths here. Not really anything too special to say about it. Here's my dog. I don't know if I introduced you guys to my dog, but here's my dog. He doesn't have a name. There is a commenter that has been commenting on the series that wants me to name the dog. So I'm going to do that in the next 100 days since we do have a name tag. But yeah, if there's anything else that you want me to name, go ahead and comment it down below and I can name it. I don't have a cat. I'm so sorry, dog. I'll feed you and make you nice and strong again. I don't have a cat yet. I could get a cat. There's no villagers yet, so in the future when we do that, we're going to need to name them. I have the zombie and skeleton spawner, so we could do that. And I can also just trap whatever if you guys want me to name something. So say you really like spiders, I'll name a spider for you, because why not? But here, I'm playing with path types, and I don't know. I really liked coarse dirt in the barn build, and I thought it was super nice texture. But it just looks really ugly with path blocks. So I'm going to get rid of it, but I tried to make it work. I thought about incorporating wood, like oak planks into it. Oak planks, gravel, coarse dirt. I thought it might look nice. It just doesn't look nice. I really tried to make it work a good few times. I tried to use it as a blending block between grass and path. So like next to the crops, for example, it's like not where grass is growing because there's like foot traffic on it, but it's not quite a path block because it's just off the edge of the path. I don't know. I tried to make it make sense, and this is one of those times where logic and Minecraft just don't get along because this looks awful. So I'm going to go over all the paths that I just made, and I'm just going to make them actual path blocks, and it's going to look so much better. But if you guys have any ideas for how to make these paths, like should I use gravel, should I use other stuff? I'm good with my stones, but I'm just not good with my earthy tones lately. So yeah, help a brother out because I really need it. But that being said, paths are good. Let's go ahead and move on to the walls. Paths are good, but they're not technically done, so we're going to do a little bit more of that, and we're going to connect it to the back. But as for the walls, you can see these little placeholders that I have. I put them all around. Those placeholders are just going to represent where we put logs. So we'll put like probably spruce logs just to keep the color variety up nicely. I think that'll complement the composters better, and it'll look nice. I don't know. I haven't decided yet, but the cobblestone, stone blocks, whatever they are, they're placeholders for the logs. And then between the logs, we're just going to do fences. And then on top of the logs, we're going to do either lanterns or half slabs. I'll probably do slabs just because it looks nicer. And then we can always put lanterns on top of the fences. But yeah, wrapping around the back here, pumpkins to the left and then melons directly ahead. As you might notice, no sweet berries. I didn't want to do sweet berries. I thought about it for a little bit. nobody's farming sweet berries. Technically I could, and there is room for it just to the right of the melons, but I don't know, didn't want to add it. Like directly ahead past the melons right there is where they could go. Didn't want them. I don't like sweet berries and I don't like farming them, and they look kind of nice, but other than that, not really a huge reason to do it, so I didn't. But if you want me to, maybe I will. Probably won't because I still don't like them. But yeah, we're still just trying to repopulate all of this and fill everything out while we do the walls. Moving forward a little bit, we got everything outlined, everything good. I got rid of all the stone, and honestly, my markings weren't great. I think they were better as a shape marking, but not really for how many blocks apart everything should be. And here I realized I did not terraform well at all. Technically, the terraforming was fine. I just tilled all the way to the wall when I probably shouldn't have. So I'm gonna have to do a little bit more terraforming, but otherwise it should be pretty much fine, and we can finish putting on these walls. If this little baby zombie didn't hop up at the wandering trader and destroy my cropland, and then the camel or llama, whatever he is, shot my dog. So obviously we're gonna have to throw hands with everybody involved. And there's one lead, one camel died, one llama died. I assume it's the one that shot my dog, because this one's kind of chill now. The wandering trader is alive, selling absolutely nothing of use. I'll leave the other llama alive since he seems to have repented for his sins by killing that other zombie. So all's good in my world. Let's just go ahead and patch this up and finish building our walls. Obviously, I'm not going to make you watch me build all these walls. That would be a colossal waste of your time. But what I am going to do is show you guys the general design. It is just going to be spruce, slabs, and fences. My dog's going to completely block that. And then I'll do this for all the farms: wheat, potatoes, carrots, pumpkins, melons. And for now, I'm going to place torches. I'm going to place them really poorly, but I'm going to place torches where I want lanterns, and then I'm going to go grab some iron and fill that back in. Here's the little melon area. Everything, at this point, everything is pretty much done. I need to do a little bit of finishing touches with lanterns and stuff, but I was trying to rush to make sure that I had a good finalized state of the video before 100 days, because I think at this point it's day 98 or so, so I really didn't want to have anything incomplete. And if it turned to day 100, I would show you guys this with just the torches, and I would just show you the chests and everything. But I was kind of wondering where to put the potato chest, because the carrot chest is there, and the potato chest seems like it wants to be at the end over here, but that's also really inconvenient because it's so far out of the way. So I decided I'm just going to put it up front, right here, right next to the entrance. And I don't remember if I had the gates in already, but I think I had the gate right there too, so it's next to the entrance to the actual crop farm. And then here I'm going to need a bunch of chests because, one, this wheat field is huge, so it's going to have an incredibly high yield, and two, I'm going to have 1 million wheat seeds, and I kind of want to keep them separate. So I'm thinking the double chest will be probably for hay bales and for wheat, and then these will be for seeds, or maybe vice versa, I'm not sure. But storage is looking good. Again, everything's kind of scattered at this point because I really want to have somewhat of a finished product by day 100. And I'm going to break up this little chest structure with a crafting table since there's not one outside, and there probably should be one outside. Anyways, we're going to give a nice little chest for the pumpkins. And then I think all we need to do now is give the melons a chest. And then we can go through the tour for the final 100 days and everything that we accomplished. This guy broke in. I honestly don't know where he spawned because everything is lit up super well. But you guys might see I have some, I forgot what they're called, azalea bushes or saplings or sprouts, whatever they are. I put them around and they also look really nice. So I just added a few of those around the place. And now everything's done. Here's the final time lapse. This is the crops just filling in. For some reason, the potatoes aren't filling in here. I did get them completed. I guess I didn't get them completed for this replay mod, but everything is done, I can assure you. And after this, we're going to go ahead and do a little recap of these last builds. So here's the sheep. They filled in a little bit more. The chickens, I'm going to let him suffer alone. Obviously, this is still working. There's the sawmill and cauldron, no, stone cutter and cauldron setup that works. Over here, we have a path that's not really leading to anything yet because we haven't built any houses. But inside we have these sheep that ate all the grass. We have some cows, some pigs, and then to the cow crusher I added a smoker and a furnace so that if we ever want to switch over to steak, we have it. But as you can see, it's working beautifully. We have almost a stack of leather in there, a bunch of hay bales around the place, and the beautiful, beautiful windmill and farm. Everything is looking so good over here. Added a nice little staircase and path. All the walls are finished. All the crops have filled in completely. The windmill just looks so cool. Around the backside, we have just some foliage, some pumpkins, some melons, and then this path that kind of extends back toward the sugar farm from the first episode, or I guess that was the second episode. But if you haven't watched the episode series, it's there. You guys don't have to go back and watch it retroactively, but if you want to see the episodes as they come out for the second 100 days, go ahead and subscribe and you can get the little sneak peek. But yeah, here's the farmer's house. Here's the view out the back. There's the sugarcane / watermill area. And we'll just end this nice 100 days on a view out the front. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, let me know. If not, also let me know. I could use the criticism because I am still a very small YouTuber. So take care, guys.